Harm. I am Supergirl.
Hey guys, just finished watching Supergirl Season 3, Episode 6, Midvale. This episode was quite interesting, this episode being entirely a flashback to 10 years ago with a 10-year younger Kara and Alex and stuff. And it was interesting, the idea of them doing this. Now, part of me is just thinking that, oh, of course they're going to do this for this episode. It's going to be a lot of this flashback and stuff. And I thought we would, even with the trailers last, I thought we'd going back and forth between modern time and you know, stuff like that to see Alex get over it instead of just waking up over it. But I guess that happens, you know, you do get over things when you just wake up and things like that. But it was, because it was interesting seeing that. I mean, it was pretty cool. The idea with that, I mean, it was like, cause I was thinking, oh, okay, this is probably the episode. Next week's episode is going to be the crossover or setting up to the crossover or something like that. So it is interesting that we do that. Next week's episode is going to be interesting to see that we have Mon-El coming back and all that. But we still have another episode before the crossover. So it's not like this is the one at the end of this episode. It set up the crossover or anything like that. So I don't know. It does seem interesting. I guess this is maybe they started filming the crossover at this point. This is why they put this episode here instead of putting it way in the middle and then, you know, using it. It was pretty cool seeing the different things going on. The best part of this was the Chloe reference and actually kind of pretty much having Chloe, everything but having Allison Mack in the show, which would have been pretty cool. But I guess I think if I'm not mistaken, there is a bit of controversy with her going on. But you know, it was really cool seeing that. I mean, it kind of, the timeline kind of doesn't fit and stuff. If you look at Superman already being, if you go to season 1 of Supergirl and Superman already being Superman at that point when he drops her off in the first episode of Supergirl, and, you know, in Smallville, he doesn't become Superman until later on, unless it's just, no, I guess it could be this, unless it's a continuation or something. I don't know. It is interesting. It is really cool seeing that. It would have been cool to maybe eventually, if we can get actually Allison Mack in here as Chloe, and all that, but it is pretty cool to see where things go with this storyline. Was a pretty cool thing. Another thing though that bothered me with this story, I mean that Chloe thing, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense or anything like that. I love it. It was worth it. It was pretty cool. I love the idea of it. But the other thing that really put me off guard was the Martian Manhunter, having him in this episode. I mean, it was cool seeing them using his car and stuff. But the idea, you know, that he was there in the past pretending to be his mother as Erica Durant, that was awesome. It was really cool with getting Erica Durant and stuff, letting them have that stuff. But because she wasn't her mother, it was kind of weird how they were doing that, you know? I mean, I guess at this point, did John Jones already have access to pictures of Erica Durant and stuff like that, of Kara's mother, to know what she looks like? Did he already have that projector thing that can make a 3D hologram of her from her ship? Does Martian Manhunter in the past already have access to her ship type thing? And does Eliza Danvers, does she know about Martian Manhunter? Because if you go back to season 2, was it season 2 or the end of season 1 when we got that reveal and Kara and John Jones, Alex and John Jones are on the run from Cadmus and stuff like that, because of John Jones being revealed to be an alien back when season 1, when Kara came out as when Kara got affected by kryptonite. John Jones had to reveal himself. Alex and John Jones had to go on the run. We're going to be taken to Cadmus. Supergirl and Lucy Lane broke them out, stopped the transfer, and then they were on the run, and they went to there was the last episode of season 1. They went they went back to home, and they went to see Eliza at her place and stuff. And then it's when John Jones met that, and they did the whole talking about how her father's alive and all that stuff. And she was surprised to see him. You know, she had all these questions in that episode. So I don't understand how he's in this episode. Yeah, he never reveals himself in front of her, so maybe there's that thing where he doesn't know who she is type thing. But it's almost as if she called him. Like, is John Jones, was she spying and watching Carl the whole time and knew, oh, this is the time I should turn into his mother to join into the show? It just really took me out. I know it was a great moment. It was really cool and all that stuff, but it didn't really work and doesn't make sense to me. And I wish there would have been a little bit of thing just to explain how it works out and stuff like that. I mean, it just didn't make sense timeline-wise. You know, how did he know that she needed to do that? It would be cool to see, you know, if they had gotten back at the end of this episode to whatever, at the end of this episode, got back to the DEO, and then talk to John Jones, and he says a line that, Kara's mother said, and that's when we know, and he's like, it was you that day, and then, doing that whole thing, like, how did you know to do, and how did you know what my mother looked like, so I don't know, it just would have been cool to get a line like that at the end. Maybe we'll get it in next week's episode, like previously on, and they'll show a line that Erica Durant says and stuff, and then a line, and then have him say it during that episode in next week's episode. Maybe we'll get that'll explain that, but it just doesn't fit for some reason for me. Maybe there's something I'm missing there, but I didn't. That kind of confused me there. How does that make sense? But other than that, it didn't take me out too much. That episode, it was really cool. This sort of murder mystery type thing as they were doing. Although it was kind of obvious who it was type thing as things went on. It was a quite different storyline. I like the idea of it. I'd like to see more of this. And yeah, it was pretty cool seeing this. I wish we would have saw Jeremiah Danvers, but I guess, like they said, he was already gone by this point in the past and stuff. So, all in all, it was a pretty cool episode. It was really cool, to see that. It was pretty interesting and all that stuff, and see the way things went. It was quite fun. And yeah, so it is pretty cool. I just feel like, because I was at the end of this episode, and when the episode was going on, I was wondering what was going to be the big thing that's going to make her not use her powers, not be Supergirl, not save people for the next 10 years until the season 1, episode 1 type thing, till she gets to that, until she's like 24 and stuff. So I didn't understand this, and the ending to this kind of is wishy-washy to a little bit to the way it didn't really make sense to me that that ending was strong enough to make her never use her powers from that point on for the next 10 years, never use her powers whatsoever. Now she would probably use her powers, like looking through walls and things like that, but never saving someone or never helping someone or stopping a crime or anything like that, being super, never doing anything super type thing for the next 10 years. I don't know, I didn't feel like there was enough consequences there or anything like that. I think it would have been way more interesting is if there would have been, if someone could have, if they were someone had almost found out about her powers, and the possibility of someone else finding out about her powers and seeing how things went, like if someone nearly found out about the powers, and they were gonna remember in Smallville there was someone who found out about Clark's powers, and he had a footage and stuff, and he was gonna threaten to leak it out there, and he even had Clark I think it was one of the early episodes in season 1, he used Clark to try and break into a valuable thing at a museum type thing. So just the idea is that they should have something like that, where something where she learns, if I use my powers and just blatantly like that, and people find out, that's where the danger is people finding out type thing. And that's when she would later on in the future decide to do the Superman thing and have, Superman and have Kara Danvers. So you have Superman and Clark Kent, you have Supergirl and Kara Danvers. So I think it would have been nice to build that up. Maybe we can get another flashback later on next season or whatever, dealing with stuff like that, because I feel like that ending there doesn't really give an ending to, yes, I will never use my powers here for the next 10 years, type thing. Using her powers, but never save someone or do anything heroic for the next 10 years type thing. So we'll have to wait and see if we get another one. But I really like this episode, and I would like to see another one. And I don't mind it being right up before the crossover. Giving them, that way Melissa Benoist and Alex and stuff, they can also and Carly can also go do the crossover and stuff, and to freeze different actors and stuff. I don't mind having these entire flashback episode. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. What'd you think about it? Did you like these actresses playing the roles? I think they were really well cast. I just couldn't tell if the Supergirl actress, the one who was playing Kara, see if her name's here on young Kara, Isabel Vodvik. That's what it says here on IMDb. She looked pretty good. Just I wasn't sure if they colored in her eyes. Let's see if those were contacts, because I think those were contacts. Yeah, those were totally contacts. And stuff. So that was, I knew that they were contacts. That kind of blatantly came out in me. So yeah, but she was really good in the role. And it was really cool seeing the different things. She did really well, and she looked very much like Melissa Benoist. Even here, she looks like Melissa Benoist. Wow. So yeah, it was perfect casting for these two. I definitely can't wait to see them return in the future. Maybe with the Legion of Superheroes coming around and time travel coming into this show, maybe we could get them, in modern times somehow, something like that. Oh, mind blowing. Let's see. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes
Subscribing
is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.